successful.
So why, I mean, it's remarkable that she's very publicly associating with now the former president. She flew down on his plane to the debate at 9/11 remembrances.
Yes, and there is really a mystery now about exactly what she's doing, right? The reports are that she has not been hired by the campaign, but she's certainly in Trump's inner circle this week. I don't think we know for sure what exactly she's going to be doing in the future, but during the Republican primary, she certainly was out there as a cheerleader for Trump, trying to attack Ron DeSantis. The former president reportedly wanted to hire her last year, and according to CNN's reporting, he was talked out of it by advisors and aides who said that would be a terrible idea. In some cases, it seems like he is buying what she's selling. Noxious, incendiary, in-your-face, hardball style politics, sometimes with racist and Islamophobic overtones. He reposts a lot of her content on Truth Social, and he spotted her in the crowd at an event earlier this summer saying, she's a fantastic person, a great person. You know, we know that some advisors are urging Trump to try to behave, so to speak, but Laura Loomer indulges in his most base instincts. But we don't know if she will continue to travel with him in the future.
All right, Brian Salter, thanks very much. Yeah. Anthony, does it make sense to you that he would now have her around?
It makes total sense. It fits like a jigsaw puzzle piece perfectly because all the normal mid-of-the-range Republicans have left him. Some of them are tepidly supporting him, like Governor Nikki Haley, but he wants nothing to do with her. And he's gravitating to these alt-right people that help write the Project 2025 and all the different things that are going on. He likes it, and she gets him in trouble all the time. You know, she came up with the turn black. I'm sorry I'm saying that on your air, but that was Donald Trump's words, not mine. Right. And
the thing he said at
she fed the NABJ thing. That's her stuff. Okay, you follow her on Twitter. It's some of the most incendiary, disgusting stuff. But that's him. There's a very big part of his personality that lives in that space. And you have to ask the equivocation that's going on. You know, 2016, a lot of us held our nose and said, okay, that's probably not right. We'll just pretend and through cognitive dissonance. But we have 9 years of data now. That's him. He is Laura Loomer. And if you're supporting him right now, look in the mirror and say, you're supporting somebody that has Laura Loomer's DNA, and Laura Loomer's thought process.
Can I just say also that he gets to avoid responsibility, right? So having the Laura Loomers out there saying the crazy things that maybe you won't say, right? But she gets to say it because she has no boundaries, she has no bottom.
Supporting the Hitler lookalike.
It's avoiding responsibility, and it reflects a double standard. Because I mean, you remember the Obama years. People were going into who his pastor was, 15, 20 years ago, and what the pastor said at a church meeting, and you have Laura Loomer right there in the room with him. So I think she benefits from the publicity, but Trump and his campaign, obviously there are a lot of Republicans.
Here we go again. Now they've decided to go after Laura Loomer. Have you noticed? Since yesterday, all the mainstream media outlets are certainly buzzing with stories about Laura Loomer being spotted around Trump, hopping off his plane, attending rallies, and even taking a photo with him. The media is working overtime to convince us that Trump is somehow getting his political advice from her, and they've unleashed a barrage of attacks. You can see the agenda at play here. First off, Laura Loomer, while being controversial, has been a vocal supporter of Trump for a while now. But the media's obsession with her sudden proximity to Trump feels forced. They're trying to paint this narrative that Trump's entire strategy is being influenced by Loomer. But do we really think Trump, a man who's been a central figure in American politics for years, needs anyone else to pull his strings? Come on now. They're doing this because they know Loomer triggers certain reactions. She's been banned from multiple platforms. She's unapologetically outspoken, and she doesn't fit neatly into the box they want her to fit in. And now, with Trump acknowledging her at rallies, they're making it seem like she's his secret political advisor. Let's not forget how the media spins narratives like this. Just like how they twisted Trump's interaction with other controversial figures in the past. At the end of the day, it's just another tactic to distract from the real issues. They can't control Trump's message, so they try to muddy the waters by attacking those around him. Classic move. Now, I need you to think about this. Are these attacks really about Loomer, or are they just another attempt to undermine Trump?
Happy with it.
I just think this is super juvenile, to be honest with you. I mean, I watched Stelter on there said, well, we get to reward her for this. Of course, look, she's being talked about right now. And you asked the question, who's Laura Loomer? I don't know who she is. But I just feel like this is juvenile watching him.
She's on the president's, on the former president's
plane. But the way that you're that the program is framing it and the way that Brian's framing it, it's like these rumors and innuendos. I don't know what she's doing on there. Like, what are you talking about? That's not news. I think it's just juvenile and beneath this show, to be honest with you.
But
yo, Scott just checked them. He just did. Like, he checked them. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if CNN decides they've had enough of him after this. That was a reality check they weren't ready for. Imagine at the time when we should focus on Kamala Harris, who, by the way, has barely been doing any press, let alone explaining her policies. We instead talking about Laura Loomer? Really, CNN? Really? Harris is essentially running for president, and she's still out here avoiding questions. Where's her clarity on the border crisis? Or any policy for that matter? Instead, they're spending valuable airtime attacking someone like Laura Loomer, an influencer whose biggest crime is being loud about her support for Trump and against the establishment, pretty much. They're painting her as this fringe conspiracy theorist to distract from the real issue. Harris's evasiveness. That's the issue. Scott called out Anderson Cooper on his show and for stooping to this level. I mean, this is CNN's prime time. This is supposed to be serious political coverage, and they're wasting time on a online influencer rather than demanding answers from a vice president who's essentially campaigning by silence. You know, like, Scott wasn't having like any of it, and neither should we. We shouldn't. They're forcing us to watch this type of craziness. You know, the media should be holding politicians accountable, not influencers. But it seems like they're more interested in playing politics than reporting facts. That's what Scott pointed out, and he nailed it. I'm proud of him, that guy. I know maybe it will be banned from CNN, but he did the right thing. So let's keep the focus on the real issues at hand.
We're not the ones who are hanging out with her. It's your candidate is hanging out with her and actually listening to her and taking advice from her to call the vice president a recently turned black person.
So he doesn't know.
You're not going to bring it up.
We're talking about, you guys are saying he's taking advice from her. How do you know that? Brian doesn't know that.
She's riding on the plane with him,
That doesn't matter.
posting memes that he then talks about and adds dogs into them in the debate.
Have you on this show had someone else who says crazy stuff, anti-Semitism, plenty of that on the left? Have you done the same kind of segment for Kamala? Because there's plenty of examples out there. So I just find this kind of juvenile, to be honest with you.
Right, but what you're not doing is you're not saying anything about Laura Loomer.
Right there.
So your argument.
Do one with her.
Right. What you're doing is you're trying to distract. Your
I'm not trying
argument
to
doesn't.
distract.
I'm asking about Laura
I just find
Loomer.
it juvenile. That's all.
Okay, is it juvenile for the former president to hang out with her and to take advice from her?
I don't know that he's taking advice from her. I don't know who she is.
on the
Is it-
So I don't know. It doesn't matter if he's on the plane.
I've been on that plane lots of times.
Did he take advice from you?
He took a lot of advice from me. He won in 2016, didn't he?
He brought her to
He's taking
9/11
advice from you.
remembrances.
I don't know.
She's with him for
She's
days
serving
at
a
a
clear
time.
purpose.
She's there for a reason. People aren't just.
I just think, Anderson, I just think,
You're
yes,
you're
we might want to
hurting
talk
your
about
great
like rumors.
reputation by supporting
I'm
this.
not ruining reputation.
You are.
We're just having a conversation about like rumors. I mean, this is not, the American people don't care about this. They just don't care about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
It's
when
tactic.
she's saying on Twitter that Kamala Harris turned black, and he's using her words at the NABJ, the American people don't care about that. They're like, that's a racist dog whistle, Scott. And that's something that he is getting from her, and she's lighting
I don't know
matches
that- you
into
don't
his
know that.
mouth.
I mean, I just feel like this
Okay,
is
well,
just
come on, you
rumors,
know
that's
that.
all.
Okay, so
you know that.
if he is getting advice from her, is that a wise idea?
She's happy right now, Anderson. She's got to be super happy because she's getting tons of airtime right now for nothing. And just like Brian said,
I'm
you're
just asking
rewarding
you-
her
I'm
for
just asking
what you
you.
say is bad.
Okay, I understand you don't want to answer the question because you're trying to deflect.
I'm not trying to
That
deflect
is no,
anything.
but that's your argument
Please don't
style,
say
and I
that.
get it. I get it. I
What are you
understand
asking
the
me?
tactic.
What are you asking me?
Is it wise for if she is giving him advice and he's taking advice from her? Is that wise?
I don't know. Probably not. But I don't know he's taking advice. I don't know. Do you?
Man, they're spending primetime TV talking about Laura Loomer. Yes, Laura Loomer, an influencer who supports Trump. That's it. And they're trying to stir the pot, suggesting Trump might be taking advices from her, and all based on rumors. It's the same old story. Paints anyone connected to Trump as a far right, a Proud Boy, or like Hillary Clinton said on 2016, deplorable. Let's be real for a second. This isn't journalism, it's gossip. Yeah, Scott is right. This is gossip. We shouldn't be talking about this stuff like at prime time. They're dodging important questions like what Kamala Harris stands for, or why she's been practically invisible during this campaign. Instead, they're trying to create drama around an influencer, as if that's what the American people care about. You think the average voter is worried about who Trump takes a picture with? No, they're worried about gas prices, the economy, and the border security. It almost feels like Laura Loomer hit a nerve, maybe with something she said about Kamala Harris. Why else would they make her a target all of a sudden? Every mainstream media channel now, they're talking about Laura Loomer. The goal here seems clear. Try to make Trump distance himself from Loomer and distract the public from the fact that Harris has been avoiding serious scrutiny. At the end of the day, this is just another example of the media playing interference for Harris and the Democrats.
Based on the reporting,
On Brian's reporting?
Actually,
No,
the
based on
reporting
Trump's
about her
DNA.
being on the plane and the memes that then end up in the debate, and also
Is there a reporter who sat on the plane with Donald Trump and said Laura Loomer is giving him advice? I mean, is there?
He's using her words, Scott. He's using her words and her sentence structure when he's in a debate or he's in an interview. He's taking her
Again,
words.
you guys are saying stuff that you just don't know. It's just your opinion, which is fine.
Well, okay.
We all have opinions.
the
I
White
just
House.
find it
The White
pretty
House
low.
also hit back at Loomer's comments about Vice President Harris today. Let's play that.
She must be really happy the White House is sitting on.
It is repugnant, these types of comments. It is un-American to say these types of things. Exactly the kind of hateful and divisive rhetoric that we should denounce, and we should not be part of the fabric of this country. No leader should ever associate with someone who spreads this kind of ugliness, this kind of racist poison.
You know what? Let's get one thing straight. There is nothing more American than freedom of speech. The right to express your opinion, whether it's popular or not. It is something that is protected by the Constitution. Now, in this political climate, some platform might try to silence voices they don't like, but people like Laura Loomer are finding ways to get the message out, whether it's on X, formerly known as Twitter, or Rumble. She's exercising her right, like any American should, and to speak her mind, especially about candidates she doesn't support. You don't have to agree with everything she says. I don't. But that's the kind of point that we're trying to make here. It's her right to say it, you know? When people start labeling her speech as un-American, like Karine Jean-Pierre did, that's where things get tricky. You can disagree with her politics, and you can argue about the things she says, but calling it un-American, that's just not correct. That's not just right. Even speech that we may find offensive or distasteful is protected in this country. To be clear, I don't condone any racist remarks she's made, and I don't stand behind those statements. But that's not the point. The point is that in America, people are allowed to express themselves, even if we don't like what they're saying. And that's what separates us from so many other places or and countries. The ability to debate, to disagree, and to voice opinions without fear of being silenced. That's the American way. So before we jump to conclusions about who can or can't speak their mind, let's remember what makes this country great in the first place. The freedom to say what you believe. What do you guys think? Drop your thought in the comments, okay?
It's interesting, Anthony. Do you think, obviously, look, Trump has some very talented, political minds around him in his campaign. The fact that at this stage, though, he's now bringing these other people, what does that tell you about?
When things go badly for Donald Trump, he reverts back to the Laura Loomer sort of stuff. So he's probably going to make more changes, management level, because he got destroyed in that debate. And every time things go badly for him, he recoils and he goes in that direction. And I have to say to my new friend Scott that I disagree with him, because if it's on Twitter that she just turned black, and then it's coming out of the former president's mouth, she just turned black, he is listening to her, Anderson. When the windows open and you hear clippity-clop outside, it's a horse, not a zebra. It's Occam's razor. He's listening to her. She's on the plane with him. He's talking to her. And she's a new shiny penny for him, and he likes it. And he knows that he wants to win on white supremacy and misogyny. That's how he wants to win.
I know that you're laughing. We just met, so this isn't personal. But we are raising children who...
I agree.
I have...
Nobody has a monopoly
my
on
son
being respectful
is
in this
Haitian
campaign.
and Puerto Rican and African American,
Sure.
and I have to explain to him that this is part of the conversation. If children start teasing other children over being from immigrant families, we're talking about real impact. We are talking about needing a change in the character and the moral center in terms of who is a president and the standard that he sets for this country. So it isn't funny, right?
Please
it isn't
let me
something to
respond.
dismiss. And he has a responsibility to think about who's around him, who's in photos with him, because again, in many ways, they are speaking for him. And to not speak up, to not denounce it, is unacceptable. It's the same thing that happened in Charlottesville, and it's happening again.
Charlottesville was a lie. That's first.
There's no lie. I watched it on
Let me respond.
television.
I just listened to you.
Okay.
Let me respond.
Go ahead, please.
Let me respond. I was respectful. The reality is this: no campaign, Democrat or Republican, is somehow innocent of inflammatory rhetoric. The President of the United States got shot in the head. My colleagues got shot at a congressional practice, baseball practice. No campaign, no side is innocent of not saying inflammatory rhetoric. You can't say that. You can't all be one side and you're just, oh, he's saying bad stuff and not criticize the other side. You have to be able to do both, because I agree with you. I'm raising a son too, and I want him to be respectful, and I want him to love all people and respect them. And he will, because that's how I'm raising him. But just like you, I have to speak to him because he asks questions as well. And it's on both sides. So look, I would love for our country and I would love for our political discourse to be a lot better and softer and not so inflammatory, because in the end, we're all Americans and we love each other and we're all part of one team. The reality is that is not how it is right now. And most likely it won't be like that until the campaign at least is over. And unfortunately, maybe not afterwards either.
We're not talking about being above criticism. I've done both sides.
whole-
I've been able to criticize candidates on both sides. I'm just talking about myself. But you cannot look at rhetoric coming out
But
of
I was
Donald
not
Trump's
laughing
mouth
at. I was not laughing
and equate it with
Laura
what
Loomer.
we've seen.
I was laughing at
from Kamala Harris.
The fact that we're talking about this so much, and to be honest with you, I'm watching it. No offense, Anthony. I mean, I respect you, of course. But you guys are speaking like you're in the president's mind, and you're just not. You're not. That's all.
All right.
Scott
By the way,
Taylor.
it was 3-on-1 tonight, but it wasn't 3-on-1 at the debate.
It definitely was
it's
not
always
3-on-1.
for me.
It was
here,
3-on-1 tonight,
fine.
but I'm
No,
telling
it's
you,
not 3-on-1.
that debate was fair and even, and the losing side always blames the refs. You know that.
They did their job.
Anthony Scaramucci, thank you. Natasha Alford, Scott Taylor as well. Coming up.
Hey, Scott came in, man, and boy, did he clean the floor? They tried to gang up on him. They really did, though. But Scott stood his ground. He pushed back against all that biased rhetoric coming from the mainstream media. It's funny how they'll fact check Trump every 5 minutes, but where's the same energy when it comes to Kamala Harris, just like on the debate the other day? It's the same deal with inflammatory rhetoric. They'll jump on the right for any slip up, but ignore the left. Even when things get out of hand, like with the threat that almost led to an assassination attempt on the former president. Wild, that's crazy. This one-sided condemnation by the media is not only shameful, but it's unnerving, They've got the agenda, they've got the platform, and they're running with it. But the American people, we're not blind. We'll go after anyone who supports Trump. They'll go after anyone who supports Trump. The GOP or anyone on the right. But when it's the Democrats, it's like crickets. Silence. No pushback, no follow-up question, nothing. They'll sweep it under the rug, whitewash it, and act like it never happened. It's frustrating, but predictable at this point. It's predictable. We can see it. Look, the media's got its favorite, but that doesn't mean we should just sit by and let this happen. We need to call out the double standards like Scott did and keep pushing for fairness. I hope you guys got something from this. If you like this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video around. And most importantly, subscribe for more updates on this crazy political environment we're living in. Stay blessed.